My name is Mackenzie, and I started a GoFundMe for the adoptive mother of a nonverbal autistic child. The mother had lost her job because she wasn't able to find adequate care for this autistic child. So she really needed some help with living expenses, paying some back bills. So I launched a GoFundMe to help support them during this crisis. And we raised about $10,000 within just a couple of months. I think that the surprising thing was by telling a clear story and just really being very clear about what we needed, we had some really generous donations from people who were really moved by the situation that this family was struggling with.
GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. GoFundMe.com. This podcast is supported by GoFundMe.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I wish that whatever percentage of men have never hollered at a girl could understand the exhilaration of it working. Like just the whole process of it when we were younger. When you didn't have cell phones. I'm talking about back in the time where you had to be like, hey, Miss Williams, may I speak to Charlene, please? And she was like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine, ma'am. How are you? Hold on. Charlene! You know what I'm saying? Like that time was different. Me sitting around with y'all being like, yeah, y'all, I'm gonna holler at the one in the green. Like, Chan, which one you like Fred, which, you know what I'm saying? So first we had to divvy out which ones we like, because maybe we like the same one. Or if the entire group of them was good looking, now you just gotta send the one who could break the ice. So it might be you, but like, Chan, you just go say what's up, then we all gonna come over there. But we ain't gonna really choose none. Whichever one choose us, that's how we rocking, right? Like
that's a life skill.
And so then, when you walk over and you come back and you like, I got the digits. Like she either wrote it on your hand or she wrote it on a piece of paper. That was it. Like, and you know how many times I sat in the mirror and said, hey, I'm RC. Hey, nice to meet you before I went to the dance. I practiced that jump because I wanted to know how she was going to see my face when I told her this, right? And of course, women want that, right? Because for them, it feel good to be wanted in person. Yep. The dudes who are under 25 who don't want to do it, they're stupid because it'll actually put you ahead of the game because everybody got a dating app now.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. What you just heard was a clip from the Pivot podcast. Shout out to Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder. Very dope podcast. I wanted to share that clip with you guys because it led to some thoughts and a story of my life. And even more specifically in era. When you courted someone. What he said just now makes perfect sense to me because we live that lifestyle. And I'll talk about some of the things that we did back when you really actually courted someone or at least made an attempt to. First and foremost, back in the day, when you tried to talk to someone that you were interested in, it really was about your approach. And so I guess we'll start there. Like, what was your approach when it came to speaking to someone that you were interested in? Was there flirting involved? Did you have a line that you would drop on them? Personally, I didn't. I can honestly say I've never given a woman a line that I was interested in. Now, full disclosure, for those of you who don't know, I'm married. At the time of this recording, been married 24 years. And my wife and I have been together probably 30 years. So I'm 52 years old, right? So, I mean, I've been with this woman for the majority of my life. But I did lead a lifestyle before I met her. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, my approach was, I never wanted to like have a line or something like that to give to a woman. I always felt like, just talk. I think, at least back in the day, women genuinely appreciated the fact that you would just talk to them, because I don't think that, at least the women that I dealt with, I don't think they wanted to hear a line. Like, they were genuinely interested in who you were and what you were about. And I think that goes a long way, because in the initial stages, that's what you want to do. You want to show them who you were and what you were about. Because at the time, I mean, it's just words. So if you're, hey, baby, what's your name? What's your sign? I couldn't do that. Like, maybe I didn't have game. I don't know. But my approach was always to just genuinely be myself. I could only be Kyle because I don't know how to be anybody else, right? So my approach was very simple. Be Kyle. And that was it. Now, I will be honest, even with the girls that I dated, when I think back to how we met, like, it was always through somebody else. Most of the people, in fact, quite a few people, male and female, that I know, that I consider to be friends, I met them through somebody else. Like, it's very few people that I have genuinely met, and it's been, we were at a party, or we were at a function, or we were at a cookout or something, and we just struck up a conversation and became friends. Almost everybody that I know, I met through somebody else. Like, when I think about like my crew from back home, we all grew up in Florence, South Carolina. If you see my t-shirt on YouTube, thank you for watching. Yeah, I mean, the crew, I met, Jay Fresh. I knew Jay Fresh from church. And so I know him since I was like 6, right? So Jay Fresh don't really count. But I met Rudy. I don't even remember how I met my boy Rudy, but Rudy was the first person I met in the crew. And then Rudy introduced me to the rest of the crew. He introduced me to Ezel, and he introduced me to Fred, and he introduced me to Jay. And, it just kind of grew from there. Bill, Fred, just the rest of the fellas in the crew. And so, like, I have a lifetime of friendships with these guys, and I can't really tell you like how long or where we met. I just know we were in middle school. That's all I know. But even like friends after that, it was always through somebody else. Like, when I look at my time in college, I mean, all of my boys that I ran with in college, we played ball together. So that was like a common bond. So like me and Mo clicked because we're from the same area. But I didn't meet Mo. Like, I think somebody introduced us, and they were like, oh, he's from Florence. Oh, he's from Darlington. And if you know Florence and Darlington, they're the two cities right next to each other. And we played against each other in high school, but we didn't know each other at the time. And so like, that's another relationship that I got, friendship that built off that. But as far as women were concerned, like every girlfriend that I had, it was because somebody introduced me to her. Maybe her friend said, hey, he's cute, or I think she likes you, that type of thing. Because here's the thing, a lot of times, particularly when you're in high school and college, somebody's not going to make the first step. I remember one girl I dated when I was in college, she had her friend come up to me, and her friend was like, hey, my friend thinks you're cute. And I was like, oh, what's up? Where your friend at? She was like, oh, she's over there. And she pointed like way over there. And like, I couldn't even see that far. I couldn't even see that far to see her. So I didn't even know what she looked like. Right. So I was like, the approach is just different. How you approach people over a period of time is different. And I've grown to understand and respect that. So even in the era of the 90s and the 80s, for that matter, maybe even the early 2000s, how you courted somebody was just totally different as opposed to, today, obviously. I think, well, I won't say I think. I definitely know that there was a fear of rejection. and especially for the guys. And if a guy tells you he wasn't scared to be rejected, he's a damn liar. We all had a fear of rejection. Like even where I went to high school, and I went to high school with some very beautiful girls. Even the most, even the most flyest of the fly, I wasn't gonna go step to her like, what's up? I'm Kyle. Can I get your number like that? I wasn't gonna do that because like there was a certain level of fear of rejection there. Now, if we were at a set, if we were at a party, a cookout, or a pool party or something like that, that might be a little bit different. But even then, I wasn't going to. I remember, and I distinctly remember my senior year, the summer leading into my senior year in high school, we had a pool or have a pool. And there was this girl that came. I had a pool party. We would have pool parties from time to time. And this particular day in the summertime, we had a pool party. And it was this girl that came through with one of my friends from high school. And I didn't know her. It was her cousin. And I was like, I pulled her to the side. I was like, yo, what's up? Who is that with you? She was like, oh, that's my cousin. And I was like, man, she's cute. And then when she took her clothes off and got in the pool, I was like, oh, word, it's like that. But and she was like, well, you should talk to her. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And my homeboys was like, yo, you're the host. You got the pool. You got the party. We got food. You should be the one to talk to. And I'm like, I don't know her like that. And so I spent most of the day, outside of hosting and stuff, I spent most of the day like, trying to be coerced into talking to this girl. And I just didn't. I was just like, no, I'm not. I was like, and then here's the thing, when you're hosting a pool party, you're constantly moving around. So it's not like you got time to sit and just spit game. And I actually talked my way out of that. Like I never, she was there. She appeared to have a good time. And, word on the street, she was kind of feeling me, but I never stepped to her. That was the fear of rejection. And so if I'm being honest now, 30 years later or 20 years later, however long it was, fear of rejection, because like, I was like, okay, well, yes, my crib, it's my pool, it's my food. She's here. I don't know her. She don't go to school with us. So, my thing is like, what would it be? Why would you be feared of being rejected? Why would there be fear of being rejected? And I don't know. Probably ego more than anything else. But those moments, I think, made us, as far as confidence, who we were and who we were to become. Like I said, I didn't have any lines. So the only thing I could have said was, hey, I'm Kyle. Thank you for coming to my party. After that, dog, it's open floor, because after that, it's based on what she's going to say from there. And I punked out. I ain't gonna lie, I punked out. And I probably shouldn't have punked out, but I punked out. And I think, if we're, particularly from that era, if you're being honest, we all probably have a story or two like that of girls where we punked out. In fact, I know one specific where one of the homies, Jay Fresh, he was actually talking to this girl, and I saw her first. And I wanted to step to her, but I was just like, nah, because she was cute. She was bad. She was like a year younger than us. I'm not going to say her name, but we went to school together. But Jay Fresh had talked to her, and I was like, but he beat, and I have this thing like, if my friends dated somebody, I don't care how long ago it was, I'm not dating them. I'm not going out with them or anything like that. And we actually had a situation where it was somebody that I dated back in, I can't say dated, because we didn't go on a date. We were in 7th grade. So she was my girl for, 3 weeks in 7th grade. And one of the homies wanted to step to her when we were in college. And he called me and asked me, he's like, yo, man, you mind if I was like, bro, that was 7th grade. That shit don't count. I was like, go ahead. It's like, we had a 3-week relationship, and that's about par for the course in 7th grade. I love the fact that he had the respect for me as a homie to give me a call, but that's just how we did, and that's how courting was back in the day. But yeah, I had no lines. I could have easily approached the young lady and said, hey, I'm Kyle. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. I know your cousin, blah, 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 blah. And then after that, you stop. Because see, here's the thing, fellas. When you're talking and you're in that pursuit stage, if you will, you state your case and then you stop talking. Because you can over talk a situation. And I think if you're from that area, you probably have. But I never did talk to her. And when I saw her a couple of years later, I was like, damn, I shouldn't have talked to her. I should have talked to her because she was fine. But it is what it is. But the fear of rejection definitely prevented me from stepping to her that day. And looking back on it, I had all the cards in my hand. I had food, I had a pool, I had a party. I mean, I was the host. I mean, like, what more did I need? And I really didn't need much more, but sometimes you dribble the ball off your foot out of bounds. And that was one of those times. Ryan Clark, at the beginning of the episode, mentioned about calling on the phone. Okay, kids, here's the thing. There were no cell phones in 1991, right? 1990, 1991. There were no cell phones. Or if you had a cell phone, it was a car phone. It was a brick phone. So nobody had that shit. We didn't have money like that. Nonetheless, so when you called a girl, you had to call her on her house phone, right? And there was a 99.9.
My name's Mackenzie, and I started a GoFundMe for the adoptive mother of a nonverbal autistic child. The mother had lost her job because she wasn't able to find adequate care for this autistic child. So she really needed some help with living expenses, paying some back bills. So I launched a GoFundMe to help support them during this crisis. And we raised about $10,000 within just a couple of months. I think that the surprising thing was by telling a clear story and just like really being very clear about what we needed, we had some really generous donations from people who were really moved by the situation that this family was struggling with.
GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Start your GoFundMe today at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com. GoFundMe.com. This podcast is supported by GoFundMe.
From taco night in Tulum to sushi in Tokyo, make every bite rewarding with Gold from Amex. Wherever you dine, 4 times membership rewards points at restaurants worldwide are piling up. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-gold. Terms and points cap apply.
Quick quiz. What injury law firm has been helping people in the District, Maryland, and Virginia for over 35 years? That's right. It's Greenberg and Betterman. Auto accident? Medical malpractice? Get a free consultation by visiting gblawyers.com and feel better.
Percent chance that somebody in her house was going to pick up the phone and answer. And you had to be polite and show your manners when you called. So when you called, you would say, hey, Miss Jones, how are you? Can I speak to Nia? Like that. That was the spiel. You couldn't say anything else crazy. You couldn't be like, yo, let me speak to Nia. No, it don't work like that, Playboy. She might cuss you out, or she might hang up in your face, or she may ask, who are you and who are your parents? Because everybody in Florence knew each other's parents and stuff because most people were from there. But yeah, so calling on the phone was something different. You had to, the initial conversation, you had to be polite. You had to show manners. You had to, you had to state who you were. Hey, this is Kyle. Can I speak to Nia? Like that. Or you may say, hey, Miss Johnson, can I speak to Nia? No, you may say, hello, Miss Johnson. Can I speak to Nia? And she may say, sure. Who's calling? Oh, this is Kyle. Like that. Or if she wasn't home, you say, okay, well, can you tell her that Kyle called? And then if she had your, she'll say, well, did she have your number? Yes, ma'am. And then you hang up the phone. Courteous. And then sometimes, not a lot of times, but sometimes you would call, and her dad would answer the phone. And, man, answering the phone, this little young punk calling, looking for his daughter. it ain't necessarily flying. So you can't be overly aggressive. You can't be no punk either. You can't punk out. So it's a couple of ways that you got to play it. You got to play it like, very respectable. How you doing, Mr. Greer? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. This is Kyle. Is Nia home? No, she ain't home. Okay. Can you tell her I called? All right. Like that. But you couldn't punk out, because there are a lot of men who would try to flex their masculinity over the phone when you're trying to court their daughter. And I think was typical of the 90s, probably very typical of the 80s. In the 70s, it probably was way worse. I remember hearing stories of when a guy was trying to court, back when my mom was growing up. And I don't know if she ever said it happened to her, but if a guy was coming over to see her, you had to sit in the living room in the common area where everybody could see you. And like in some households, I mean, it really happened like this. You would come see Nia, and Nia's dad y'all might sit on the couch, and Nia's dad sits in between y'all. So whatever you got to say, he gonna hear it. So there was no such thing as privacy. And that really differed depending on from house to house. And obviously, as time moved on, people started moving around. You got less and less stuff, less and less barriers. I can't think of any time I went to a girl's house and was alone in the house with her. Her parents somebody was always home. And, if she had a sibling or something like that, she may be babysitting. So somebody was always there. You were never at a crib with a girl by herself. At least not me. I can't speak for, some of my ratchet friends, but we're not going to talk about those stories. So yeah, talking on the phone was something different. And I always liken it to the line in Prince's Adore, when he said he was rapping till the sun came up. I mean, like literally in that era, you talked on the phone forever. Sometimes you ain't talking about nothing, but you talked on the phone for a long time. And I remember even like when Sharice and I, my wife, were dating, we would be on the phone for hours at a time and just having conversation. And so it's always interesting to me nowadays when I've heard several women say, well, he doesn't like to talk on the phone. I mean, I get it to some degree, because maybe he grew up in this generation. And this generation, they don't do a lot of talking on the phone. Like, I even watch my sons as they are courting young ladies with their girlfriends. I mean, a lot of times they're on FaceTime, and they even worse, they fall asleep on FaceTime, which is bananas to me, but whatever. Nonetheless, the courting process was just totally different. It was just, how you got to know somebody was totally different, and how they got to know you. But I think the days of being on the phone for hours and hours at a time, I miss those days. And maybe that's why I have a podcast, because I came up in an era where we just talked. We love to talk. And most of the people from my era, male and female, are talkers, are very good communicators. When technology gets involved and you're just sending text messages, I get it to some degree, and some people are great texters. I'm a decent texter, but there's nobody that I'm texting romantically other than my wife. So it's not like, I got to send a whole bunch of text messages all day long to 4 different women. So that's that. Last but not least, I mentioned like the fathers. It's always interesting when you're in a courting process and you go to a girl's house. Especially in the 90s, 80s and 90s, it was very interesting because you had to meet the parents. My approach was, listen, I always felt like I could win over a mom, like charming a mother. I come in, I'm clean cut. My pants ain't falling off my ass. I ain't had no tattoos, even though that wasn't the thing in 91. I was well-mannered, well-dressed. And more often than not, if if a girl that I was going to see, if her parents or her family was from Florence, they probably knew, or at the very least heard of my family. So I didn't have to worry about like, well, who are his people? Which is a common question that's asked in our hometown. Who is his people? But meeting the parents is always interesting because one, you want to make sure that you win over the mom. The dad, I approached the dad with fun. And I've dated a few girls who, fathers were, they were always cool with me. So like, I remember one girl I was dating, I'll never forget, I went to her house and her, when I get to her house, we were going to sit in the living room and talk. That's what the plan was. And her dad came to the door and he said, who are you? And I said, I'm Kyle. I'm here to see Esmeralda. And as I said that, I stuck out my hand for a handshake. And I think that took him aback a little bit because as I was introducing myself, I was greeting him as well with the handshake. And I knew just from what I probably had already thought about him, at least what she had told me about her dad, that he was going to greet me with a very strong, firm handshake to kind of try to break my hand. So I was prepared for it. So I gripped him up, shook his hand real tight, squeezed it, bounced it up and down, pause. And he let me in the door. And I think and I looked him in the eyes, I was shaking his hand. And as I was saying my name, and then he called for Esmeralda, and Esmeralda and I sat and watched TV and, had a very nice conversation. And after that, like when I would come over, he'd have small talk, not a lot of conversation. He didn't really strike me as a man with a lot of conversation, but we'd have small talk. And that was just I think that's probably one of the first ones that I can remember where it was like, I think the greeting won him over because like he realized quickly, like I wasn't one of those dudes, but I was here to court his daughter. And I was here to let him know, like, I'm not like anybody else she's ever seen before. And you don't have to worry about me being a knucklehead. You don't have to worry about me, doing something stupid. Now it doesn't mean that I wasn't trying to, stick my tongue down his daughter's esophagus, because I was, but that's beside the point. But my point is, and you feel where I'm coming from. Like when you met the parents, you had to be cool because that was part of the courting process. Because here's the thing. What I didn't want to have that interaction, leave, and then have her dad say, Esmeralda, why are you dealing with this clown? He's a nobody. He's a bum. I didn't want that. Well, there's no way they could have said that about me because, young 12 Kyle could never be confused with a bum. But you get where I'm coming from. But I wanted those interactions to be positive. And I think that's all a part of the courting process. And I get it that times have changed and, technology's changed everything that we do when it comes to courting. But I really enjoyed that clip from the Pivot podcast because it just took me back. And it took me back to a time where things were different as far as how you approached a woman, how you courted her, how you dated her, how you romanced her, if you will, how you made her fall for you. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that I would love to go back to that time frame. I understand that today's generation, today's kids are just different. Not bad, not worse, just different. And a lot of times it's based on what they see and what they were taught. So I made sure that when my sons got of age and started dating, that I shared these stories with them. Lead with a handshake, always have a firm handshake, look a man in the eye, be respectful, all of those things, and I think it's worked out pretty good. I don't know that anybody has had a situation where they've dated a girl and the parents didn't like them, mom and dad, or just mom, because sometimes it's just mom there. but you still got to leave with that handshake, still have a smile on your face, look them in the eye. Same thing. Just it's a level of respect. And it also shows that, hey, I was raised right. My parents, I have manners. But I think that's important. I think that's very important. And so subsequently, as many of you know, or maybe you don't know, we have 3 sons at the time of this recording. They are 25, 22, and 18. And they've had girlfriends and have girlfriends. And then our youngest child is our daughter, Skylar, who is 13. And honestly, when it comes time for the courting process and the dating process for her, I would want the same thing. Like, you're not going to come to my house and blow the horn for my daughter to come outside. No, brother. You come to the door, you ring the doorbell, you greet me with a handshake, you come in and you have a seat. That's what you do. Now, if you're not willing to do that, then I can promise you that'll be the last time you see my daughter. Because we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Courtesy, manners, all of that stuff goes a long way, but it's a part of the courting process. And it also sets the tone for what your relationship could or could not be. And I think that's very important. And I think that's a skill I think that we may have lost some with technology, because if, the biggest thing for me in 1992 was like, let me get her number. And once I get her number, that's when the courting process really, really kicks up. And so it's phone calls, it's dates, it's all of that stuff. But in 2025, if I get your number and it's text messages, memes, and, pictures of private parts, I mean, that's a totally different ball game. And fortunate enough for me, I don't have to play in that ballpark. Unfortunately, some of you do. But I like the idea of, even though you're in this era, still court someone, still, approach them and give them something different, give them you. And I think you'll be okay, because to me, the courting process that we did back in the day, I mean, I'm not going to say it was 100%, but it worked for most of us. And when it works, when a good thing works out for you, you got to keep it going. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday and every Sunday at midnight. You can catch the 12 Kyle podcast wherever podcasts are given away for free. We're also on YouTube as well. We also have a new baby. It's called the Rap Soul Podcast. It is the best music podcast that you've never heard. Rap Soul Podcast is where we have discussions of music and artists from the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s when it comes to hip hop, R&B, rap, and soul music. Again, it's the best music podcast that you've never heard, so make sure that you check it out. We drop new episodes on every Monday at midnight. And we're on social media, 12 Kyle Podcast, Rap Soul Podcast across the board. If you want to contribute financially, hit us up, $TWELVEKYLE. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Yeah.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.